Oh, we haven't started yet. Oh, okay, sorry, I thought we were doing the big one. We're going to do it later on. Oh my God. Listen, but right now we're going to go over to the kitchen where our parenting expert, Nikki Bush, is here to advise parents on how to keep perspective, especially during this time of prize-giving season.
Now, this time of the year is usually marked with schools handing out certificates and trophies and prize-giving ceremonies and assemblies. Now, whether your child will be among the recipients or the chosen few, it's important for parents to keep perspective during this season. Now, this morning we chat to our creative parenting expert, Nikki Bush, about this very important subject of prize-giving. Nikki, lovely to have you back in the studio. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, now, as a parent myself, I'm not quite there yet. My boys are still very young, but I do know that, you know, when it comes to the prize-giving season, it could mean either very much to somebody receiving a prize, or it could also, on the other end of the scale, be very detrimental to a child if they don't. Yeah, disappointing if they don't receive anything. So I think, why is it so important for parents just to really keep perspective when it comes to this kind of subject, the prize giving at schools?
Okay, so prize giving in school per se is really a system of standards and norms. And every child needs something to work towards, to strive towards, and to measure themselves against. And if we've chosen to put our children into some kind of traditional education environment, there will be this annual table of awards that gets handed out. But what we need to remember as parents is that there are only so many awards that can be given out. And there are way fewer than the number of children sitting in the hall. So the chances are that very few children are going to be awarded and celebrated, and most children are going to walk away with nothing.
So I think this is really where parents need to step up and really teach your child that whether you win or lose,
I love you anyway.
It's great. Yeah, you did your best, right?
Right. So we need to make sure that our children know that whether they win or lose, it doesn't change our love for them. It doesn't change who they are. In fact, we're still proud of them for stepping up to the plate, for persevering, for putting their best foot forward, as long as it was their best foot. Okay,
exactly.
So that's the thing. And helping children to measure themselves not only just against those norms, but against their own personal best. And every year can be different. You know, you can have a year where a child has experienced a lot of illness. And that could hamper their achievement. It could be a year of very fast growth, where some children shoot up and it depletes them of energy, and you see that there's a drop in marks. You know, there are many different factors that impact on whether a child has a good year or a bad year. And let's face it, most people, most of us, we're late bloomers anyway.
Absolutely. I was a late bloomer, that's for sure.
Too.
I know that. Yeah, exactly. But I think also a lot of parents put a lot of pressure on their children. Teachers put a lot of pressure on students as well. So as a parent, how do you just go about reaffirming the worth of your child? Because you really want them to just really have the best experience whilst at school.
So we've got in our family something called the family celebration plate. And you get to eat off the plate if you've done something particularly well, if you've achieved something, or more importantly, if you've been amazing. So, for example, you can celebrate a child being helpful, you can celebrate somebody's perseverance, you can celebrate kindness, you can celebrate all sorts of personal characteristics, and you can do this consistently throughout the year. It doesn't have to happen only at one time of the year. And I think that that's important, that as parents, we're not hyper-focused on that one end point, that we actually consistently celebrate our children throughout the year, so that it's not all about one pressure cooker moment. And it is tough. It's really tough, especially in a country where we have matric exams, where everything boils down to one final set of exams. But we need to be building our children up in the process and teaching them how to win with humility and lose with grace.
Exactly. So celebrate that 10th spot they got on the field.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love it. Listen, very interesting subject this morning. We're continuing on this the topic of prize giving a little bit later on this morning. Don't go anywhere.